ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। अथ श्रीमन्नारायणीयं दशक 77 The Story of Jarasandha. सैरन्द्र्यास्तदनुचिरं स्मरातुराया यातो भूसुललितमुद्दवेन सार्धम् आवासं त्वदुपगमोत्सवं सदैव ध्यायन्त्या प्रतिदिनवाससज्जिकायाः. The above verse, having 13 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Praharshini meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Tadanu chiram smaraturayaha tvad upagamotsavam eva sada dhyayantyaha pratidina vasa sajjikayaha sairandryaha avasam uddavena sardam sulalitam yataha abuhu. Then you, along with Uddava, dressing yourself charmingly, went to the home of Sairandri, the maid servant who gave you the sandal paste and to whom you had promised that you will visit her later. Sairandri was very much afflicted with love for Krishna, and she behaved like a Vasaka Sajjika who every day dressed herself nicely and decorated her home beautifully, expecting the arrival of her lover. Sairandri was always thinking about the festive occasion of Krishna's visit to her home and prepared herself for the same. Upagate tvayi purnamanoratham pramada sambramakam prapayodharam vividhamananamadadatim muda rahasitam ramayancha krishe sukam. The above verse, with 12 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Druta Vilambitam meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Tvayi upagate purna manoratham pramada sambrama kamprapayodharam vivida mananam adadatim tam rahasi muda sukam ramayam chakrishe. You entertained Sairandri happily in privacy, who extended many honorable worships to you. When you came to Sairandri, she felt that all her wishes were fulfilled and her body shook with extreme joy and excitement. पृष्टावरं पुनरसाववृणोद्वराकी भूयस्त्वया सुरतमेव निशान्तरेषु सायुज्यमस्त्विति वदेद्बुधयेव कामं सामीप्यमस्त्वनिशं इत्यपि नाब्रवीत् किम्. The above verse, with 14 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Vasanta Tilaka meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Punaha varam prishta asau varaki bhuyaha tvaya nishantareshu suratam eva avrunot. Again, when you asked her to seek a boon from you, that poor woman again asked for only union with you during other nights. Sayujyam astu iti buddha eva vadet. Granted that only an enlightened person will seek for union with you and seek ultimate liberation. Samipyam astu iti api kim na abravit. Why she did not ask a boon to be near you always. Tato bhavan devanishasu kasuchin mrigidrisham tam nibhritam vinodayan adadupashloka iti shrutam sutam sanaradat satvata tantra vidbabau. The above verse, having 12 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Vamshastha meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Deva, O effulgent God, Tataha Bhavan Kasuchit Nishasu Mrigidrisham Tam Nibritam Vinodayan Upashloka iti Shrutam Sutam Adat. Then you quietly entertained that doe-eyed woman during some nights and gave her a learned son called Upashloka. Saha Naradat Satvata Tantra with Babau. He learned the Satvata Tantra from the sage Narada. अक्रूरमन्दिरमितोतबलोद्दवाभ्याम् अभ्यर्चितो बहुनुतो मुदितेन तेन येनं विसृज्य विपिनागतपाण्डवेय वृत्तं विवेदित तथा धृतराष्ट्रचेष्टाम्. This verse, having 14 syllables in each quarter, is constructed in the Vasanta Tilaka meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Atha balodhavabhyam akrura mandiram itaha muditena tena abhyarchitaha bahunutaha enam visrijya vipinagata pandaveya vrittam tata dhritarashtra cheshtam vivedita. Then you went to the abode of Akrura along with Balarama and Uddhava, and you were very much honored by him. Then you sent Akrura to Hastinapura and got the news of the Pandavas who had returned from the forest, and you also knew about the activities of Dhritarashtra. Vighata jamatu paramasuhrudo bhojan nripater jarasandhe rundatyanavadirushandeta maturam ratadyairdyolabdhaikatipaya balayutas trayo vinshatyachauhinitadupaneetam samahritaha. This verse, having 17 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Shikarini meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Atha jamatuhu paramasuhrudaha bhojan nripatehe vigatat anavadirusha ande jarasandhe mathuram rundati. Then, when Jarasandha, blinded by limitless anger at the killing of Bhoja King Kansa, his great friend and son-in-law, attacked Mathura. Dyohu labdaihi ratadhyaihi katipaya balaha tvam balayutaha tad upaneetam trayovimshati achauhini samahritaha. Then you, along with Balarama, destroyed the 23 Achauhini Senas brought by Jarasandha. You had the chariot and other materials from the heaven and had a small army with you. According to the Bhagavata Puranam, when Kansa was killed by Krishna, Kansa's two queens, Asti and Prapti, went to their father, the Magadha king Jarasandha, and told him about their sorrow. Jarasandha became very angry on hearing the news and decided to kill all the people of the Yaduvamsha. He made grand preparations for a big battle with Krishna. He took 23 Acchohini Senas and surrounded Mathura. One Acchohini Sena consists of 21,870 elephants, 21,870 chariots, 65,610 horses, and 1,09,350 soldiers. When Krishna decided to destroy the attacking army, two chariots, shining like sun, came immediately from the heavens, which had all the material for a great war and also charioteers. Evam dhyayati govinda akashat surya varchasau rata upastitau sadhyaha sasutau saparichadau. Bhagavata Puranam, 10th Skanda, 50th Adhyaya, 11th verse. At the same time, the divine and eternal weapons of Vishnu appeared there by themselves. The weapons of Balarama, such as the plough and the mace, also made their appearance before him. Krishna and Balarama wore their armors and, mounting the chariots, came out of Mathura. At that time, they carried their weapons and a small army was with them. Daruka was driving Krishna's chariot. Coming out of Mathura, Krishna sounded his Panchajanya conch, which made the enemies tremble in fear. The army of Jarasandha was vast like an ocean and was very formidable. But by the sons of Vasudeva, Krishna and Balarama, the lords of the universe, that great army was destroyed very easily. Balam tadangarnava durga bhairavam duranta param magadendra palitam chayam pranitam vasudeva putrayor vikriditam tad jagadishayo param. Bhagavata Puranam, 10th Skanda, 50th Adhyaya, 29th verse. Baddham baladata balena balottaram tvam bhuyo balodhyamarasena mumochitainam nishesha digjaya samahrita vishwasainyat konyastato hi balapaurushavaanstadanim. This verse, having 14 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Vasanta Tilaka meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Atha balena balat baddham balottaram enam tvam bhuyaha balodhyama rasena mumochita. Then you released that very strong Jarasandha, who was forcibly tied by Balarama, as you were interested in seeing Jarasandha come again for a fight with more forces. Nishesha digjaya samahrita vishwasainyat tataha tadanim balapaurushavan anyaha kaha hi. At that time, there was no one as strong and valorous as Jarasandha, who had obtained many armies by conquering the kings in all the directions. According to the Bhagavatam, during the battle of Krishna and Jarasandha, the entire army of Jarasandha was destroyed. Even his chariot got broken. At that time, Balarama forcibly caught hold of Jarasandha. Krishna released Jarasandha, thinking that Jarasandha will come again to fight, accumulating more armies, and Krishna will get a chance to subdue them also. So he asked Balarama to release Jarasandha. Bhagnassa lagna hridayopi nripai pranunno yuddham tvaya vyadita shodasha kritva evam achauhini shiva shivasya jaganta vishnu sambhuya saikanavati trishatam tadanim. This verse is composed in the Vasanta Tilaka meter, having 14 syllables in each quarter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Bhagnaha lagna hridayaha api saha nripaihi pranunnaha evam shodasha kritvaha tvaya yuddham vyadita. Then the defeated Jarasandha, though he was heartbroken, was prompted by the other kings to fight, and he fought with you 16 times. Vishnu tadanim sambhuya asya saikanavati trishatam achauhinihi jaganta. O all-pervading God, at that time altogether you destroyed 391 Achauhini Senas of Jarasandha. Shiva Shiva, it is a great wonder indeed. According to the Bhagavatam, when Krishna and Balarama released Jarasandha, he felt ashamed to receive their mercy. He was heartbroken and decided to perform penance. But other kings told Jarasandha, O king, don't do any penance. Nobody can defeat you. You should not lose heart. You will definitely win the war. Listening to them, Jarasandha fought with Krishna 17 times, taking 23 Achauhini Senas every time, and all of them got destroyed by Krishna. अष्टादशेस्य समरे समुपेयुषित्वं दृष्ट्वा पुरोतयवनं यवनत्रिकोट्या त्वष्ट्राविदाप्य पुरमाशुपयोधिमध्ये तत्रातयोगबलतस्वजनाननैषीः. This verse, having 14 syllables in each quarter, is framed in the Vasanta Tilaka meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Atha asya ashtadashe samare samupeyushi. Then, when the 18th war with Jarasandha was about to take place, Tvam puraha Yavanatrikotya Yavanam Drishtva. You, seeing in front of you Kala Yavana, who had come there with 3 crores of Yavana soldiers. Ashu Twashtra Payodi Madhye Puram Vidapya. You made Vishwakarma, the architect of the gods, construct a city in the middle of the ocean very quickly. Atha tatra yoga balataha swajanan anaishihi. There you transported all your people with your yogic powers. According to the Bhagavatam, when Kala Yavana surrounded Mathura unexpectedly, Krishna told Balarama, At this time, the strong Kala Yavana has surrounded Mathura. Jarasandha is also expected to arrive any time and fight against us. If Jarasandha arrives when we are fighting with Kala Yavana, then Jarasandha will kill our relatives or take them as captives to his city. So, we will construct a fort in which no one can enter and transport our people there. Then Krishna made Vishwakarma construct a wonderful city Dwaraka in the middle of the ocean. With his great yogic powers, he transported all his people to Dwaraka. Padbyam tvam padmamali chakitaiva puran nirgato dhavamano म्लेच्छेशेनानुयातो वदसुकृतविहीनेन शैलेन्यलैषीः सुप्तेनाङ्ग्र्याहतेन द्रुतमतमुचुकुन्देन भस्मीकृतेऽस्मिन् भूपायास्मै गुहान्ते सुललितवपुषा तस्तिषे Bhaje. This verse, having 21 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Sragdara meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Padmamali tvam chakitaha iva padbyam purat nirgataha davamanaha vada sukrita vihinena mlecheshena anuyataha shaile nyalaishihi. You, wearing a garland of lotus, came out of the city Mathura on your foot, as though you were frightened and ran. You were followed by the Mlecha king Kalayavana, who did not have the merit to be killed by you, and you hid yourself in the mountain cave. Ata suptena angriyahatena muchukundena drutam asmin basmikrite. Then, when Kalayavana was reduced to ashes by the sleeping Muchukunda, when he was hit by the foot of Kalayavana, Bhakti Bhaje Asmai Bhupaya Guhante Sulalita Vapusha Tastishe. Then you appeared with a beautiful form in the cave in front of that pious king Muchukunda. According to the Bhagavata Puranam, when Krishna came out of Mathura's gate, Kalayavana, seeing the form of Krishna with the Srivatsa mark, the four arms, the beautiful lotus-like eyes and the Vanamala, concluded that it was Vasudeva Krishna as described to him by sage Narada. Seeing Krishna walking on foot and not holding any weapon, he also decided to fight with Krishna without any weapons. When Kalayavana ran towards Krishna to fight, Krishna turned his face away and ran away from the battleground, and Kalayavana ran after him. Krishna ran for a long time and reached the cave of a mountain. Then Krishna entered the cave and Kalayavana followed him. Inside the cave, Kalayavana saw a person sleeping. He thought that it was Krishna pretending to be asleep, and getting angry, he struck against the sleeping person with his foot. The sleeping man woke up and opened his eyes slowly. He saw Kalayavana in front of him. As soon as his eyes fell on Kalayavana's body started to burn, and in a minute he was reduced to ashes. The sleeping person was King Muchukunda, the son of King Mandata of the Ishwaku dynasty. Muchukunda protected the Devas from the Asuras for a long time. When ultimately the Devas got Kartikeya Bhagavan to protect them, they thanked Muchukunda and asked him to seek a boon from them. Muchukunda was very tired and asked the boon of sleep, and after getting the boon, he went to the mountain cave to sleep. The Devata said, O king, if anyone wakes you up while you are asleep, that person will be reduced to ashes as soon as your glance falls on him. Kalayavana was thus destroyed when Muchukunda looked at him. Then Bhagavan Krishna revealed his charming form to the pious Muchukunda. Krishna appeared beautiful with a dark blue complexion, with yellow silk garments, with the Srivatsa mark and the Kaustuba gem on his chest. He had 4 arms and a beautiful face with shining Makara Kundalas. King Muchukunda was very pleased to see the god and praised him with beautiful stotras. ऐक्ष्वाकोऽहं विरक्तोऽस्म्यखिल नृपसुखे त्वत्प्रसादैककाङ्क्षी हा देवेति स्तुवन्तं वरविततिषुतं निःस्पृहं वीक्ष्य हृष्यन् मुक्तेस्तुल्यां च भक्तिं दुतसकलमलां मोक्षमप्याशु दत्त्वा कार्यं हिंसा विशुद्ध्यै तप इति च तदा प्रार्थलोकप्रतीत्यै. This verse, having 21 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Sragdara meter. Addressing God, the poet describes Muchukunda as saying, Ha Deva, O God, Aham Aichvakaha, Akila Nripasukhe Viraktaha, Tvat Prasadaika Kankshi Asmi, Iti Stuvantam Tam, Varatatishu Nispriham Vichya Krishyan. Then you became pleased to see Muchukunda, who did not want any boons from you. Muchukunda further fervently praised you, saying that he only sought your blessings. He also said that he belonged to the Ichwaku dynasty and he was totally detached from all the royal pleasures. Muktehe tulyam bhaktim cha duta sakalamalam mokshamapi ashu dattva hinsa vishuddhyai tapakaryam iti cha lokapratithyai tada prata. You bestowed on him devotion which was akin to liberation, which removed all the sins. You also gave him liberation very soon and asked him to perform penance for purification from the sins of inflicting pain while performing his royal duties. You thus set an example for the world to follow. According to the Bhagavatam, Bhagavan Krishna was very pleased with King Muchukunda and blessed him, saying, Vicharasva mahim kamam mayyaveshita manasaha astveva nityada tubhyam bhaktirmay anapayini. Bhagavata Puranam, 10th Skanda, 51st Adhyaya, 62nd verse, which means, O king, you place your mind in me and roam about freely in this earth. Let there be everlasting, undiminishing devotion in your mind towards me. The god further said, O Muchukunda, as a Kshatriya, you have killed many animals during hunting. Now you worship me with single-minded devotion and wash off those sins. You will be born as a Brahmana in your next birth, and you will be a friend and a well-wisher of all the living beings. You will then be happily united with me. Tadanu mathuram gatva hatva chamum yavanahritam Magadapatina marge sainyai pureva nivaritaha charama vijayam darpayasmai pradaya palayito jaladi nagarim yato vatalayesha pahimam. This concluding verse, having 17 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Harini meter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Tadanu mathuram gatva yavanahritam chamum hatva. Then you, going to the city of Mathura and killing the army brought by Kalayavana. Marge Magadapatina Sainyaihi Pura iva Nivaritaha. On the way, you were obstructed by the king of the Magadha, Jarasandha, with his army as before. Darpaya Asmai Charama Vijayam Pradaya. After giving him the last victory in the war to satisfy his pride, Palayitaha Jaladi Nagarim Yataha. You ran and reached the city of Dwaraka in the ocean. Vatalayeshwara Mam Pahi. O Lord of Guruvayur, please protect me. According to the Bhagavatam, Krishna, after blessing Muchukunda, returned to Mathura and destroyed the army of Kalayavana which had surrounded the city. At that time, Jarasandha came there to attack Mathura for the 18th time. Seeing the great army of Jarasandha, Krishna and Balarama pretended to be afraid of it and started running with great speed. When Magadha king Jarasandha saw them running, he laughed and followed them in his chariot. Jarasandha did not know about the great prowess of Krishna and Balarama and thought that they were afraid of him. Then Krishna and Balarama climbed the lofty Pravarshana mountain. When Jarasandha knew that they had hidden in the mountain and when they could not be found by searching, he set a big fire around the mountain. Krishna and Balarama jumped down from the lofty mountain unnoticed by anyone. Then they reached the city of Dwaraka. Jarasandha assumed that Krishna and Balarama were burnt by the blazing fire and he returned to his kingdom Magadha.